Yo,
Hey,
Josh
what's up,
here.
Josh?
And who's this over here? Oh, that way. That way.
I'm keeping it real, Mike.
Ha ha. And what is today, Mike?
Today is the second most favorite day of the
Yeah.
year if you're a horror movie fan.
Yes.
Other than Halloween night, I would say tonight, a Friday the 13th is one of the favorites.
Yeah, it's epic. It's awesome. They had a stroke of genius when they named this movie series Friday the 13th. That was, I mean, it was almost like a guarantee that this was going to be like a holiday to horror fans, in my opinion. Like this is, like you said, next Halloween. This is up there, no doubt. This is up there. Um, but so Mike, what movie are we talking about tonight, and what are we kind of doing tonight for our show?
Yeah, so the show tonight, we definitely want the people that drop in tonight to stick around with us and talk about 1 through 6. We're first going to talk about number 6 first because we haven't done 6. We've done 1 through 5.
Yep.
We're going to talk about 6 briefly. I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. Then we're going to go back and talk about our favorite parts, or even ask if the people in the chat here tell us their favorite kills or their favorite parts of 1 through 5. Which one are your favorites?
Yep.
I pinned that at the top. Which Friday the 13th is your favorite? So at some point you can, we'll ask that question again, or you can put it in at any time. We can kind of see that, but
Yep.
it's good to see, a few people in here. I know it's Friday night,
Yep.
Friday 13th. People are probably going to see scary movies, and there's a lot of horror channels doing lives tonight. So it's a good night.
Yes, definite. A lot of content out there for horror fans tonight. No doubt about that. In the theater or just on YouTube in general, or on TV, AMC Fear Fest.
So, hey, if you're watching this on a replay, this is to you. I'm in your living room right now. We're talking to you, man. We're talking to you, man.
Friday the 13th 3D.
3D. That's what happened to the pig back here. 30 some away from 1,000 subscribers, Josh.
Wow. Can you believe that, Mike?
If you're watching this on a replay, it don't cost you a dime.
Right.
Just hit that subscribe button. 36 away. We're not worried about the money because we're a long ways off on the hours. We just want to get that 1K because we put in, about 13 months now into this, right, Josh?
Yeah, I think a year.
About a year?
Yep. So let's get to Friday the 13th Part 6. Now you think like Friday the 13th Part 6, like, man, they got to be running out of steam. Nope. This movie is really original, in my opinion. It stands out in the Friday the 13th movie series, in my opinion. Up to this point, it stands out. Jason, this is the first movie where we get zombie Jason, Mike. This is full blown. We're taking it there. He is a zombie. And they let you know right off the bat, this guy was brought to life by lightning. This guy's Frankenstein. Right, Mike?
Yeah. It's cheesy, campy, and fun at the same time.
Right.
Definitely don't take it serious. But I do like the beginning of this with Corey Feldman, too.
Oh, yeah. Wait, no, this ain't Corey Feldman in the beginning.
Oh,
Mike.
God. I'm already off on one already. I'm talking about 5.
That's number 5, bro.
That was 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, this beginning sucks. No, it's actually pretty cool. You got the lightning rod used. They go from the cemetery fence. They grab the piece of the metal, stab it down there. I mean, you got Horseshack came back in this one, I believe, from Welcome Back, Kotter. Welcome Back, Kotter.
Like, my heart's beating out of my chest.
Yeah. They come back, they crack that thing open. He's got worms and maggots all over.
That was gruesome.
And then they turn around and stab him down with that pole.
Tommy
and then
Jarvis.
All of a sudden, it's like Frankenstein. I think we saw that a little bit on Dead Meat was talking about it. They kind of make a tribute to Frankenstein.
Right.
Because the lightning comes and the zombie comes to life.
Yep.
Later on in the movie, I believe they say also there's a little convenience store called was it Karloff?
Yeah.
So it kind of throws and I'm already locked up there, Josh. I'm gonna have to leave and come back.
All right. Well, hang on, just let it see. It might fix itself here.
No, it ain't.
No, okay.
You keep talking. I'll come back.
Okay, see you, buddy. Yeah. So this movie does have Tommy Jarvis in it, It is. They call this, so 4, 5, and 6 is called the Tommy Jarvis trilogy because it has Tommy Jarvis in it, who is like the main antagonist, main good guy or whatever. I mean, and so I like that about this movie series. I think it's good. Should I let Mike back in here or what? Mike, come on now. What's up with this internet, dude? You got Friday the 13th internet.
It's Windstream, man. It's probably the ghosts and the witches of Halloween 3 that's doing something. I don't know. Shamrock.
Yeah, and also the other funny thing about this movie, like Gregory is saying, every Tommy Jarvis in this trilogy is played by a different actor. So I guess the other guy, the guy that was Tommy Jarvis in 5 was like pretty religious or something, and he didn't realize he was signing up for a Friday the 13th movie, apparently. And then in the 6th movie, he decided to become like a priest instead or some crap. I don't know. So he did not return for the movie. This movie came out in 1986.
This, in my opinion, was far better Tommy Jarvis, though.
Oh, yeah. This guy.
I did not like the one that was in 5. I did not like that character. I mean, he may have been a good guy in real life, but this Tommy Jarvis, in my opinion, was a much better Tommy Jarvis.
This is the definitive Tommy Jarvis that we will be seeing tonight, Mike. On what?
Yeah, there's we kind of promoted this today in Real Dead. If you're not part of Real Dead and you're watching this on a replay again, another shameless plug on Facebook, Real Dead. But at 10 o'clock tonight, right? Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
If you've never seen the fan films of Friday the 13th, Never Hike Alone, and also Never Hike in the Snow, this was Never Hike Alone 2 coming out at 10 o'clock tonight.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
It's Womp Stomp'em channel, right, Mike?
Yeah, Womp, yep. And for the money and how much they do it for, and to be considered a fan film, they're pretty good.
Oh, dude, Never Hike Alone, the first one, is really good in my opinion.
Some of them are better than the ones 1 through 6.
Yeah, I would say yes, I agree. And neither of them are as boring as the first one. Oh, whoops. So listen. It came out in 1986. Part 6 did. It is rated R. Mike, do you have I have the Rotten Tomato score, but we don't have to talk about that right now. We can kind of bring that up later when we go through.
Yeah, let's do that later.
Okay. But for me, this one does, and also the Jason in it. I like that they kind of, like I said, that he is a zombie. He is unstoppable, and he's kind of like the Terminator in this one, in my opinion. Like, like nothing really hurts him. And they do, for the first time, I think, since number 2, they're back in a freaking campground or a camp with campers, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. We've had how many Friday the 13th movies that didn't take place at a camp?
Yeah, this one finally goes back to the, between one after 2, right?
Right. There's a lot to like about this movie, in my opinion. That you have like the returning Tommy Jarvis. I didn't mind the main final girl. Her name's Megan. I didn't mind her. She was kind of like a little bitchy or whatever, but I didn't mind her at all as the final girl. She was fine. I like the opening where he kills that what's his name? Horshack. I didn't watch the show. But I like that where he punches his heart out, dude. That was cool.
Oh yeah. He rips in there and pulls his heart out. And then, yeah.
Yeah. And, the other thing I like about this is it has a 007 opening, Mike.
Oh, yeah. When those eyeballs in that mask, I was like, gosh, where's James Bond theme music coming on there? I mean, geez.
Yeah, and
that was so cheesy and funny.
He walks out and then he slashes the screen. So I thought that was funny for sure. What did Gilbert say? I love how teenagers gravitate to the barn. Yeah, they did in the 3rd and the 5th one. Both both finales took place in a barn, Mike. So yeah,
I think this number 6. I may be wrong on this, Josh. You correct me if I'm wrong.
You've already mixed up 5 and 6. So yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah, I've watched them all here so close together. Is number 6 the one that has no nudity in it or very limited nudity?
Yes, it has none.
It's the only one that in the franchise history.
And number 5 has a ton of nudity.
Yeah, 5 was like over the top. It
right.
was almost like soft porn in a way. I mean, it. But yeah, number 6, I don't think has any nudity because they were making fun of the makeout scene in the RV.
Right.
You know, if the RV's rocking, Jason comes knocking.
Right.
But yeah, didn't really show me much.
No, didn't show anything compared to the number 5 and any of them really. I like supposedly this movie takes place 1 year after number 5 in the time.
Okay.
The Friday the 13th timeline is messy at best. So it takes place 1 year after 5, and so there's that. I like the paintball part, Mike. You know, I'm talking about the paintball part.
Oh yeah,
where all those they're like executives or something, and they're out here
playing like war or something.
And then this one guy, he was doing his best Mike Loveless impersonation. He was saying, "This woman needs to be in the kitchen."
I'm frozen and I can't get up.
You're no.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever said that to Michelle, she would whoop my tail. So that stuff don't happen down here.
No, definitely not. Just joking. But there's the guy that got eliminated by a woman and he didn't like it. And then of course he was the first one to get killed by Jason. And it was pretty cool because Jason just like ripped his arm off and took his machete, and iconic weapon. There you go. He's got his machete. So, and then he does a triple decapitation at once, Mike. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then this other
guy, I like the I mean, I'm probably jumping ahead here, but I like the one where he gets, I mean, it kind of got a bad score on it, like one of the worst killings on it. But I kind of liked when he took the machete and went through the 2 people on the motorcycle. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I thought that was all right. Hey, how'd you like that guy that's like the deputy, and he's got that gun with that huge laser scope on it?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, wherever I point it, you bang.
You bang. You bang.
He's still alive. I think he's in that movie tonight, Mike. I think so. So he's in that movie tonight that we're gonna watch, that fan film. Which we will be doing a review on and getting it out as soon as possible.
It'll come out tonight. It may be around midnight, but it will come out tonight.
Yeah, the review will come out tonight. I did right here. Jason is like the Terminator to me in this movie. He's very slow and methodical.
Well, I thought CJ Graham moved pretty good. Now, this was the one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had two Jasons.
Yes.
One got fired because they said his ass was fat.
Yep.
And then they turned around and come with the tight ass, CJ Graham. You know, that all of them just loved him. He was too nice of a guy and hard to be mad at. But CJ Graham did a good job at it. I'm hoping he's going to be at a convention down the road. We can get his autograph.
That would be great. That would be great. Hey, so what I liked about this movie is that Jason kind of is like, even though it didn't take that, it hasn't been that big of a time jump, but Jason kids have a game made up, a card game up of Jason. Did you notice that, Mike? That was kind of cool. Yeah. I thought, like, don't let Jason. You have to find Jason in the campground or whatever.
Hey, if we went, I'm kind of, it's like a squirrel to me. But if we're going to talk about the James Bond intro, we have to talk about the disco music too.
Oh yeah, it's got disco music.
It was so 80s cheesy disco, like early 80s, like should have been in the 70s disco music.
Well, this was 86 though.
Yeah, but then they have Alice Cooper does the soundtrack for the metal in it.
Yeah, I like that.
I did too. I like Alice Cooper. I still like Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. Oh, I love the part where you were talking about those teenagers were in the camper having sex, and like the guy was, the girl was like, he was like, how much longer? And she was like, oh, just until the song's over. And he's like, how long's that? And she's like, 10 more minutes. And he's like, what?
Was it a David Bowie song or was it an Alice Cooper song on that?
No, he plays Alice Cooper on the radio.
When he's driving down in the RV.
Right. That's right.
They also play the Alice Cooper song when she's driving her Camaro down the road.
Yeah. Yep. That was a perfect car for this movie. Camaro.
So what I loved about this was the teenagers at the beginning when they're all together. One of them sitting on the seat, and he's got his Sony Walkman on. He's got the little earbuds in back for the day, and he's got his little Sony Walkman hooked to the side.
Yeah, that guy was kind of cool. You know,
I liked him.
I don't remember his name, but yeah. And then do you see he had all of his jeans all ripped up, those huge holes, and the cops like, oh, why do you got those? But dude, people wear that shit today.
Now it's a fashion statement, man. Now they're wearing it. You know,
the guy was ahead of the times, wasn't he, Mike?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember back in those days, you see old people with socks, black socks, and flip flops on and sandals, and socks pulled up to your knees, and you laughed at them. Nowadays, I mean, my son's doing that now. It's cool again.
Interesting. And also we have to bring it up because they are one of the biggest horror channels, Dead Meat. They got their name from this movie.
That's a funny scene. It really is, Josh. Tell everybody about that scene and see if they remember it. You want to tell them?
No, I'll let you tell them.
Okay. So yeah, the kids, they're Jason's there and they're trying to keep the kids safe and they're telling them to be quiet and blah, 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 and told them to get underneath the beds because, they wanted to hide from Jason. And these two kids are there together. And like one of them says, like, tells the other one thing he says is like, what did you want to be when you grow up? And then the other one looks at the other one and says, what do you think? What's going to happen? The guy goes, I think we're dead meat.
Yeah. And then again, he asked him again something. He goes, I think we're real
dead meat. That's right.
Yeah. And so it's a cool part in the movie for sure. Also,
what about the scene? There's another scene here. I know it's towards the very end. I'm not going to say this one, but when Jason twists the girl's head off. That was pretty classic, man. I love that scene.
Yep, I like that a lot. Also, I always love it when Jason like smushes people's heads with his hands. I always like that too. Just the sheer power, of the guy. I did like that kill where he twists that girl's head off for sure.
One of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, though, Josh, is when the kid that we're talking about when they were having the only sex scene with no nudity in it. He's driving down the road. Jason comes up, stabs him in the head, I believe, or neck, or somewhere stabs him. Then the RV turns up on its side.
Yep.
And then you see this awesome view of CJ Graham as Jason on top of the RV with it starting to catch on fire. I think that looks awesome. Yeah. I love that scene.
It was great. We didn't mention that Jason actually has a different look in this movie than he does in previous movies. I mean, he still has that button-up shirt and pants. But he has like a utility belt on with like darts.
I think he's going to work for Duke Power now, I think.
And he has work gloves on. It's weird.
He wears yellow gloves the whole time.
Yes, that is weird. I don't like that, but the utility belt's kind of cool in my opinion.
Well, Kane Hodder took the role for 7, 8, 9, and 10, and he wore gloves too the whole time.
Yeah, well, he didn't wear a belt though.
He didn't wear the utility belt. You're right.
No, but he didn't wear gloves like that though. He wore like different kind of gloves.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up here one of the coolest parts of this movie is the end.
Yeah.
Where Tommy Jarvis is going toe to toe with with Jason Voorhees, and he ends up trapping him, puts a chain around his neck, and hooks that to a big rock, and Jason sinks to the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake, and it is a really cool scene and a cool shot, isn't it, Mike?
I think it's really cool. And he starts talking trash to Jason because Jason's going to kill the blonde in it, the sheriff's daughter. We forgot, man, that kill is awesome. Before you get to that, where the sheriff gets killed, and Jason bends him backwards, man, where you hear the crunching. And then his back hits the back of his legs. I mean, he folds him up like an accordion. That was pretty cool.
He's probably the cop that did the best versus Jason because
I like that cop. I thought he was a good actor. Of all the actors throughout the whole series, I think he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he was good, and he he was a little forceful. Sometimes he told the guy just because he wouldn't calm down, he was gonna shoot him in the head. But
back to that one thing. I'm sorry, you told me to and I kind of stopped. He yells Tommy Jarvis yells at Jason to come get him. He's out in the canoe or out in the little boat out in the water. He takes, once he starts going up underneath the water, he takes gas and pours it around.
Yeah.
Kind of an iconic scene of it. Then he turns around, lights it up. Then the guy, Jason jumps up and cracks it in half. He puts the thing on his neck. They both fall down. And then he's trying to grab Tommy Jarvis, and Tommy Jarvis ends up choking him out and, with the water and stuff, and he drowns him. He floats back up, but the girl comes back out and cranks the boat motor up.
Yeah.
And the boat motor kind of hits him in the head. And then you see this blood and some stuff come up from it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it. I thought it was good. Is that why his mask has a piece out of it? Because of that boat motor?
It may be, yeah. I bet so, from the bottom of it. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm looking at...
Because a lot of them should have that axe part from number, 3?
I don't know. I'm looking at the NECA from number 7, and I don't know if it has that part taken out or not. I can't see it from here, but... the axe part was... I wrote that on another thing, that the axe mark was here from there all the way till, all the whole series, which is really cool. He should have a bullet hole in his mask too, because he got shot right in the head by the cop.
He did.
But yeah, I like that cop. He shot him with a shotgun a couple times. He didn't just stand there. Now the one cop did get his head smashed. The guy that was always checking his hair out in the mirror. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're out here trying to hunt Jason and you're checking your hair in the mirror, bro.
Hey, so the extra deputy in this is going to be on the show tonight too. Or or is it tonight he's going to be on, or has he been in one before?
He was in Never Hike in the Snow, which was the second movie.
I said that wrong then. So he was in there already. Plus Tommy Jarvis, the character that played Tommy Jarvis, plays Tommy Jarvis. And he's going to be in there, I think, again tonight, right?
I'm pretty sure that guy, the cop, will be in it. The guy that didn't die. So I want to talk about just a couple things that I did not like about this movie, Mike, before we move on from it. I would say it had a decent amount of bad acting in it, in my opinion. Yep. It just did. I said, Jason, I thought he's a zombie, but I thought sometimes they got too close to the side of his head and it looked like a Halloween mask. It didn't look that great. Sometimes when they got, it didn't look that great when they got close to the side sometimes and stuff in certain shots in the daytime or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just said some of the parts were weird and not that great, but overall, I think it's an enjoyable movie. It's not boring, I don't think. It has likable characters in it. I mean, like you said, there's a cop character in it that's likable. That's rare in a horror movie, because usually they don't believe them and they're dickheads. Yep. So here, he is likable. He didn't believe him, but he tried to save his daughter at the very end. He did. He tried to go toe to toe with Jason, and he lost, but he tried. But yeah, like I said, I did like it. Mike, do you want me to get my rating on it?
Sure.
My rating for this one out of 10, 5 being middle of the road, I'm giving this one a 6, Mike. 6 for 6.
Wow, that's pretty. It's pretty high. Okay, so you really like that one?
I thought it was entertaining.
That was above average.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
Listen. I mean, we have to listen. You know, what does it say right here, Josh?
Keeping it
real. I got to keep it real here. So any of these Halloween movies, in my opinion, other than the first one or two.
Halloween?
I mean, I'm sorry. I wish it was Halloween. Friday the 13th. Halloween, you say the same thing about.
Listen, Mike, if you watched Halloween Part 6, you would prefer this one. I'll guarantee you.
This one is not as good as Halloween Ends. I can tell you that right now.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding?
I'm going to give this one a 5 being average.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 5. You gave it a 6. 5 is average, as we said. For me, that's in my number. It does have some good kills. I like C.J. Graham as Jason.
Yes, I do too.
And I do like some of the actors in it. I don't know that I like the final girl in this one.
Yeah.
So much. They kind of made her like this, hottie toddy girl that's, all she's worried about is getting with Tommy Jarvis. But I didn't know if I liked her. And she actually was an actress that played in the V series, right?
Right. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She played in the V series. So I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not, I give it a 5.
I don't think she's not the worst final girl out of this series. We'll get to that.
That was number 3. So anybody else? Okay, so the Traveling Gilberts here said number 5. So I don't know if that means they gave it a 5 too, maybe. So that's okay. Anybody else in the chat want to tell us your ranking of this 1 through 10? If you've seen it recently, I know maybe you haven't seen it recently, but maybe you can go back and remember it.
D&G said, "Why can't there be a final guy?" Well, there is, and we'll get to those final guys. There definitely is some final guys in Friday the 13th, and they're here. I'm gonna count them right here. 1, 2. Oh, wait. 1, yeah. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's 3 final guys. They don't get the recognition, but there is 3 final guys.
Tommy Jarvis has been a final from several of them.
That's right. Also, there's other ones than just him. So,
yep.
Wait. Gary said 2 covered my eyes for most of the time.
No, he's a big fan of Halloween. Friday 13th too. I'm sorry.
He's a big fan of Halloween Ends. Is that what you said, Mike?
I never said that, Josh. Nobody should be a fan of that other than Gregory. I'm messing with you, Gregory.
So this is something. So we're going to recap now. We're done with that. We're going to recap Friday the 13th, 1 through 6 right now. We already did 6, but we'll include that with the Rotten Tomato score and like the kills. I got the kills for each movie, the final girl and guy for each movie, and I got some of I think the most kind of iconic things and noteworthy things from each of the movies. So I thought we could go over that. The first one came out in 1980, Mike. I was not born yet. How old were you in 1980, Mike?
I was 9 years old.
Okay. Do you remember hearing a lot of hoopla or a lot about this movie when it came out, Mike?
At 9 years old, I don't think I was really, I remember around 5 or 6, 7, I saw Jaws, accidentally. My mom was watching on HBO. But I think it was a few years later. I was probably in my early teens before I saw Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's one of my favorites of all time. I mean, I've told you that, Josh, before. Yep. It and the original Halloween are 2 of my favorites. I think it's, I kind of posted those today where me and Anthony went last year and went to the original filming site of number 1. And it's just a cool vibe place. If you ever get a chance, you're into horror movies, please go up there to Hope and Blairstown, New Jersey, and see that. But I'm just a big fan of number 1. I think when we look at the Rotten Tomato scores down the road, a lot of people are going to be. I do like 2 also. I know we're going to talk about 2 in a second, but I'm a fan of number 1 for many reasons.
Hey, did you read this comment by CME? We don't agree with this, right, Mike?
What did they say?
3D Friday the 13th is their favorite. That's number 3. Oh gosh.
I did see. I think I remember telling y'all that I did see that one at a drive-in theater with my mother. And I remember that kill when you first see him with a hockey mask on. He kills the girl. I think her name was Vera or something like that. I do remember that. It's one of the kills I remember the most of everything. 3 is probably one of my least favorites. So I have to admit that.
It's the one I've seen the most because it was always on like AMC and stuff growing up, kind of like Halloween 2 was. Like both of those were on all the time. So I actually saw that one the most. So I do have a special place in my heart for it, but it's just bad. I mean, the story makes no sense whatsoever, but it does give Jason his hockey mask. We'll get to that. So in 1980, I wanted to ask this question later, so I'm going to skip it. But first one, I said it has a slow start. In my opinion, you do get a kill pretty quickly with Annie. Her name's Annie.
Annie.
Which is a cool scene. Her whole scene is pretty cool, though. It is. And it's a POV, Mike. You don't know who the killer is. This movie is a whodunit.
This whole movie is a POV, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. Whereas in any of the Jason movies after really number 2 on, Jason's the killer. Well, except for number 5.
No, right.
You don't find that out to the very end.
Right. But
that's the one thing I liked about number 1. I'm going to tell you real quick. The 3 things I love about number 1 is the point of view, the whodunit. You don't know who's killing everybody. And number 3, you have a female slasher killer. before this movie, can anybody name a movie where the killer was a female in a horror movie? There may be a couple out there, but I mean, it was way ahead of its time for doing that.
Sure, no doubt. It was a good
way
twist
ahead of
too.
its time.
It was a really good twist too. I liked
Kevin Bacon's second movie. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah, I wrote that here. Kevin Bacon was the bona fide star that came out of this movie. I mean, the guy's a star. And he doesn't have anything to do with this movie, though. I don't think he ever talks about it much or does any kind of convention. I mean, the guy don't need to. The guy's like a Hollywood star, obviously. But it would be nice if he would give back a little bit to the Friday the 13th fans.
When I was up there a year ago, one of the guys there said that Kevin Bacon's agent was talking to their agent about coming back and doing a fundraiser because to try to keep the Boy Scout camp up. That's the whole reason they do those tours now, is a lot of the money goes to the Boy Scout camp to try to keep it up and refurbish these old cabins that are falling apart. So,
yeah, that's cool. He's a big star. He could bring some attention to that. Yeah. It would be really cool. I wrote one of my favorite lines in this movie is by the crazy guy. It's got a death curse.
It's got a death curse.
I love that, dude. It's funny the way he says it. I said this music in this movie is really good. It's very good.
You look at it in Halloween. I mean, both of them. Was it Manfredi in this one? What was his name?
I can't remember.
Manfredi, whatever his name was. I mean, he did an awesome job on several of these, 1 and 2. But yeah, I mean, this one, you do have, it was 50 years ago almost,
right?
40 some years ago,
right?
You do have creepy Enos shoving the girl's ass up into the oil truck,
and then you have the guy that owns the campground touched this girl's face and dragged it real slowly, and you could tell by her reaction she did not like that. The main final.
It was like trying to pull a Jerry Lee Lewis or something on her.
Yeah. So I said the cool twist, about Miss Voorhees being the killer. Also, iconic, and then they tried to redo it a bunch in the other movies. The Jason jump scare at the end. That is pretty iconic because you think the movie's over and it's not, but it was actually just a dream.
And where did they get that from? Let's go back and talk about this too. Now we have to admit, me, I'm an OG Halloween guy. This is a Friday 13th night though, so people that are watching this are probably like, God, I'm here to listen to Friday 13th.
That's right.
But Friday the 13th outright said, I want to copy Halloween and make the money they made. The guy that got the money from some probably mafia people to produce this film, all he had was the name of it, Friday the 13th. Right. He didn't have a story or nothing. And the guys that gave him the money said, listen, copy Halloween and make the money.
Right.
So they even tried to go with the point of view look that Halloween did a couple years earlier.
Right. But they arguably made a more iconic and recognizable killer than Michael Myers, in my opinion. Obviously, you saw that thing I tagged you in. I think more people said Jason or whatever.
Yeah, actually, a lot of those people are newer. They're younger people. They're not old.
But no, I think Jason Voorhees is more recognizable with the hockey mask. Not the sackhead Jason. The hockey mask Jason, I think, is more recognizable than Michael Myers, in my opinion.
Let's ask the people in here real quick.
Well, these are all older people.
Well, you got Moonlight Adventures is your age. In your opinion, and we'll look, this is an older chat here tonight. In your opinion, who is more recognizable? Is that what the question was on that thing you sent? Recognizable or most iconic?
I think it was more recognizable, more.
Who's more iconic or recognizable? Do you think it's Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, or Jason Voorhees? Who do you think in the chat?
Y'all want older crowd? Because the people that are in here tonight, this was their movies they grew up on. So I mean, I guess, but Freddy Krueger destroyed the competition. That other poll I shared to you, didn't he?
Yeah, it was probably from a small town somewhere.
No, dude, no, dude. There's no arguable about it. He was the most popular horror icon to come out of the 80s. He just was. He had his own TV show. At the end of the 80s, he did shit on MTV. These other guys didn't. You know what I mean? I mean, he just was. I don't know why.
So you got two answers already for hockey mask. So I don't know if we can call it on two people, but oh hell, you done pissed my wife off. She's gonna be on a cruise ship with you for a week. You're in trouble. Oh snap!
What?
Josh Holstad, are you calling me old?
Mike, no, but I'm calling you froze.
I'm frozen again and I can't get up. Let me get out of here and I'll be back.
Okay. No, I'm a fan of Michael Myers. Don't get me wrong. I think Jason Voorhees is a more recognizable and iconic horror figure. I just do. I think his movies are more watched than the Halloween series as a whole. I just do. I just think they are. Because people have Friday. I mean, people watch Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th, but they also watch them on Halloween as well.
That's true.
Right.
Hey, listen, I like them all, man. I love horror movies. I like it all. I like the Scream characers.
I do too. Yeah, I love them all.
The Scream mask is killer. The Scream franchise is one of those that could go on forever. And that's really, I think, something that, we've gotten into this part with Friday 13th now. And I know we're talking about one and we got to move on. Or next thing you know, it's going to be 10 o'clock.
Jeez, Mike.
Huh? What are you saying?
I said, geez, Mike, taking forever.
Jeez, yeah, take a break there. Hell, now I forgot what did Michelle tell you last night? It was a lie. Go ahead.
Oh, geez. So, yeah, I think, and then the guy who played Jason in number 1, Ari Lehman, he has totally made his autograph like the most easiest thing to get, right, Mike?
You want me to go get a couple of them? I probably got 10 of them. I got 10 of his autographs. He signs it off Jason 1.
Mike said, man, this will go up in value. Oh, wait.
Wait a minute. It started out $25. It's down to $5 now.
Hey, I would like his autograph, though, honestly. I still would. I would.
God, the Traveling Gilbert said something that I've said for a very long time.
What is that?
Friday the 13th stole Jason's Part 2 look from Killer in the Town That Dreads Sundown.
Yeah, they said
that's the Texarkansas Killer.
Yeah.
And that I agree 100%. That movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, scared the shit out of me back in the day.
They admitted they stole that, but they did it better because not better, but they did it in a more successful movie, I would say. I mean, number 2 was pretty successful. But I do like that they went with an original look for the third one. I mean, no one was wearing a hockey mask. But let's go to number 2 then. Let's go to number 2. We're done with number 1.
Hey, so what about iconic kills in number 1? What's your favorite kill on that one?
I don't know.
Chat, tell us your favorite kill. I think Kevin Bacon's kill's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, yes.
And definitely. Then Voorhees' head, Miss Bet, having her head cut off was pretty cool then.
The number 1 has 10 kills, Mike. 10 total kills in number 1. The final girl's name is Alice. Her name is Alice.
Sadrian King in real life.
Yep. And I would love her autograph. That'd be really cool, Mike.
This guy's got it.
Oh yeah. I forgot. You do.
Even though I'm a Halloween homie, I still like my Friday 13th stuff.
Right. So let's go to number 2. So Friday 13th, number 2, this is where the series starts for me. This is where it all built from, obviously. Even though a lot of people involved with the original hated this idea of bringing Jason into it, didn't they, Mike?
Yep.
They hated it. Tom Savini hated it so much, he said, I'm not doing a special effects for this. No. He said, no, Tom Savini is a horror god. The guy has done some of the best special effects for some of the most iconic horror movies of all time. I mean, the guy is a horror legend, no doubt. I'd love his autograph, Mike.
Yeah, I would too. And he's getting up there in age, so if you don't get it soon, you may not get it.
Hopefully he's that.
But Tom Savini also went and did at the same time period. Didn't he do The Burning?
He did instead of doing this, he did The Burning instead.
And if you have not seen The Burning, and you like 80s slasher movies, you got to check that movie out.
It's not as good as Friday the 13th Part 2, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
But some of the practical effects you can tell is from Savini.
Very good. So number 2, so Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm just gonna read this off real quick.
Are we gonna tell the Rotten Tomato score on that one?
On one? No, we're gonna go through that separate real quick.
Okay.
When you list them from the worst to the best.
Okay.
So the Friday the 13th Part 2 has 9 kills, so it has one less kill than Friday the 13th Part 1. The final girl's name is Ginny, and it's Ginny. She is the best final girl, in my opinion.
And my opinion on any of the Friday the 13th that I've seen, she's my favorite.
She's awesome because she is smart and she's a badass as well.
Yeah.
And also, I'm pretty sure the guy survived, Paul Holt. I'm pretty sure he survived. He went toe to toe with Jason, but when Jason was like 5'8".
He was 5'10", 175, and number 3 goes up to 6'3", 250 pounds in one day, in half a day.
It's the most egregious.
I'm gonna put my old man things on there. Now, how the hell does that happen, Josh? Just tell me.
Wait a minute. Wait till when you watch Halloween 4, look at the size of Michael Myers compared to he was in Halloween 2. That's all. I'm telling you.
I know Michael Myers went from 5'9", 150 pounds up to freaking 6'8".
In 1981, Mike, or it came out in 1981. So you'd have been 10 then, Mike. Do you remember anything about this one?
I remember the final scene of this, watching it on a VHS tape, not at the movie theater, being in my Aunt Beverly, who's passed away now. Rest in peace, Aunt Beverly. We were in her house, me, my sister, and my mother, which y'all see the theme on this a lot. It was me. I was, brought up by a single parent. So my mother raised me and my sister. But we'd go to the VHS store, rent a bunch of movies. But I remember my sister having a big old bowl of popcorn, and at the very end of that, when he comes through the window, my sister threw the whole bowl of popcorn up in the air everywhere. I'll never forget that, and that movie reminds me of that. And I think it was considered a dream sequence. A lot of people didn't know if it was really a dream, and that's really still, some people still debate it now. But I think the way number 3 started, it kind of tells you it was a dream, really.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But I said this movie still has good music, Mike, for sure. Number 2, in my opinion. The thing I thought was kind of cool. Oh, the thing I don't like about from 2 on till, I don't know, 4 is they do a freaking 5-minute review of the last movie. I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Every one of them is like this. Yeah,
I hate that. But listen, the thing I thought that was weird is they kill the final girl, Alice, in the first 3 minutes of this movie. Once the movie starts playing,
they screwed up on that. I've read things before where she said she did not know it was a one-day shoot.
Right.
She came in and did her film. At the same time, she had a stalker in real life that was stalking her. And this is back before they really helped them or did any kind of security. She said at one point,
they said
a stalker had a loaded gun at her head.
Yeah, they said they didn't take it serious, Mike. Isn't that insane?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was the 80s, man. It was 70s, 80s. It's crazy. And so they had the gun at her head, she said, and she talked the guy out of it. But also, you notice that she gets killed. She looks in the refrigerator.
Yep.
And she sees, Jason Voorhees' mother's head in there.
Yes.
And then she shuts it, and then she gets the ice pick, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Through the temple. But in real life, the ice pick didn't work properly. So she was injured.
Yep.
She was injured with that through her temple.
Yep.
So they showed the clipboard they kept it with injuries and stuff, and she was hurt on day 1. And I think she had to settle in a lawsuit with them over it.
Right. I said I like Jason's look with a sack head. I do. I enjoy that look for this movie. I think it's original. I mean, it's not original because it was copied, but for this, I thought it was cool. They said that they couldn't have figured anything else out, so just put a sack on his head with one eye hole. That's what they did. They couldn't figure out anything to put over his head. My favorite kill in this, and it's an epic kill, Mike. And it's when the guy in the wheelchair gets a freaking machete to the face. And then
God, that is so awesome.
And then listen, then the wheelchair goes down about 4 flights of stairs.
And that was a cute couple. You kept wanting the girl to hook up with the wheelchair guy,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love that. I think that's probably one of the best kills in the whole series, Mike. I mean, it's top 5 for sure.
The special effects on that look really good too.
I mean, excellent.
I mean, this is a guy, you didn't have Savini in this film, and it's pretty darn good.
Yep. And I like where she goes to his house, and there's another kill I want to give honorable mention to, which I like, is when this nosy cop finds Jason's house, and Jason takes the fork end of a hammer and sticks it right into the top of this guy's head, and it's sweet, dude. I like that kill.
Well, they said on this number 2, they said on number 2 that since number 1 got away with a lot, they were really strict with the editing and number 2 and the rating.
Yeah.
So they said they took a lot of that number 2 out. There's some good work that guy, I can't remember his name, was that filled in for Savini, or he did the job.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff they took out, and I need to probably go back and look at the unedited version.
Right.
Probably pretty cool.
Also, Jason has a shrine to his mother with her sweater and her head, and it's pretty cool. And like I said, Ginny is very smart. She puts that sweater on. She's like, oh man, I can kind of look like his mother. And she talks to him, and it works. He believes that, this is his mother talking to him. And she takes a swing at him with a machete. And then Paul Holt comes in and gets into a wrestling match with Jason, 5'8" Jason. And it's pretty cool. And like, Jason's not super powerful or anything like that. He's just like
he kind of reminds me of a Scream character, because he's kind of average. He's not this super zombie dude.
No. One of the cool shots too is when Jenny and Paul go into a cabin just looking for people or whatever, and all of a sudden she's like, someone's in here with us, and all of a sudden like Jason comes out of nowhere and grabs Paul Holt, and they start wrestling like in the cabin part, or in the rec room or whatever. That was a really cool part, because you didn't even see Jason there. He was kind of like hiding in the shadows.
One of my favorite cinematography, cinematic type film parts is when they're in that like shed.
Yeah, his house.
And she's like looking at the shrine and everything, and then she looks around, and then you see Jason coming.
Yeah.
From the little hole in the window coming in.
Very cool.
That's a really cool shot.
Yes, very cool. And so then you do see Jason's face in this. And Ginny and Paul go back to like one of the cabins, and they're like, oh gosh. And then you like see this dog that you thought got killed, and you're like, wait a minute. And then he jumps through this window, dude. It's pretty epic. And then it ends, and you're like, whoa. And then she's just getting in the back of an ambulance, so you don't know what happened. And then she's like, where's Paul? Where's Paul? And you don't see Paul. So you're like, wait, what's going on here? But I thought it was a cool ending. I think it could have used it maybe needed a little more clarity of what was going on, I felt like. But I do like it. I did enjoy it for sure. It's probably, it's got to be, in my opinion, I think it's probably the best one.
Bring her back as a legacy character in number 13. Bring her back.
She's not that old, really, Mike. She's probably early 60s?
Yeah.
She's not that old. And like, yeah, she's alive. Paul Holt is alive, because they say that in the third one. There was 2 survivors. So
yeah, See Me Traveling said they thought it was kind of rushed a little bit, the ending.
Yeah,
I do like the thing about her head and him collecting it, and her using the psychological part of it, because she was already a counselor already, or a psychologist.
Yeah, I like
whatever.
that.
She puts the sweater on. That was a really cool touch to this movie.
Yes.
One thing I will call out, and you don't know this when you watch these movies, but back then, was it did come out later on that whoever casted these people were kind of perverts. There was two young girls under the age in this movie.
Oh yeah, 17. So they had to cut stuff out of them. Yep, for sure.
Yep. You had 2 17-year-old girls. One was one was getting undressed. One was having sex with somebody in the bed. That's the girl that got stabbed through the guy's back, and he was on top of her. They had to go back and.
Well, and did you see that story that the young guy that was with the one girl that was 17, he didn't know that, of course, but he was like in a position where he was getting, when they did the kill scene and it was like hurting his back. And he's like, man, this is hurting my back. We have to shoot this over and over again. And just some production guy came up to him and said, hey, open your mouth up. And he's like, what? And he opened his mouth up and the guy blew powder in this like 19-year-old kid's mouth, got him. And it was cocaine or whatever. I think it was. And it got the guy higher than a kite and he didn't mind it.
He didn't care about his back then. He didn't care about his back.
Like they
he didn't care if he got paid. He's like, yeah, let me lay on top of the naked 17-year-old for another 4 hours. I don't care less.
Yeah. So, like I said, you do see Jason. Now, this movie also has two people playing Jason. The first guy got fired because he was complaining too much or whatever, and he didn't like that he had to wear a bunch of prosthetics because he was the guy that broke through the glass in the end. And so there was two people playing Jason on this one. But let's go to I told you what the stats were. I think this is probably out of the six. It's hard for me because I love number 4. So I don't know. It's between number 2 and number 4, which one's my favorite. But okay, so number 3, Mike. This is divisive right now here. Number 3 was in 3D, so they had to do a lot of gimmick shots and different things like that. I'm assuming if you saw this in the theater and had the 3D glasses, it was probably a cool experience, Mike. You know, it came out in 1982, so I was not born yet. I was going to be born the next year after that.
What year was that again?
82.
So I was 11 then when my mother took me to the drive-in theater to see that.
Yeah, so the final girl's name is Chris, and she's the only one. She's final. And the movie has 12 kills, so it definitely upped the kills a bit from the second movie. So in this movie, up to this point, has the worst acting in any of the previous movies. The acting's atrocious, Mike.
It may be the worst.
It's bad. It's really bad, in my opinion. So yeah, and then I made a comment. Jason is 6'3" now and traps like freaking Bill Goldberg. And I mean, the guy's ripped. The guy playing him was, big guy. I don't know why they made that jump. I'm not sure.
In the same day.
Yeah. So parts 2, 3, and 4 are supposed to take, I guess they're supposed to take part in over a week time. Originally I thought it was a weekend, but I've heard other reports that it actually takes place over a week. So like I said, the timeline is a little messy, but it's not enough time for him to have a growth spurt, Gregory. I saw Gregory said maybe he had a growth spurt.
No, he got 5 inches added to him and another 75 pounds.
Yeah. And this one
steroids
has
back then.
This one has no camp. Boo. But it does take place on Crystal. How big is this lake, by the way? I mean, it has all these homes, all these cottages on it. I mean, so it does take place on the lake at someone's house. I like the biker gang in this. That's one of the things that I remember very fondly from watching this growing up on AMC. Like there was this biker gang in it, a girl and 2 dudes, and they follow these kids back to this barn, and Jason ends up taking all these biker people out, which I really like that when he does that. It's a lot of fun. Jason he just stays in the shadow, right? He don't really have a mask on or not. He's just kind of in the shadow. And then he ends up getting his hockey mask in this one, which is one of the most iconic things, obviously. He gets that in this one, which is awesome. He has some pretty cool kills in this movie, by the way, in my opinion. What else I'm going to say here? Oh, the one thing that's really bad is that Jason flashback where the girl's like, yeah, I got attacked here when I was like a couple years ago. Stop. And then they kind of alluded to that maybe Jason had his way with her because she's like, I blacked out and I don't remember what happened after that. What?
Yeah. That made Jason like he's a rapist back then too. So
yeah,
that's
it's
kind of
horrible.
Weird.
The guy's a killer. The guy's not a rapist. The guy has no interest in women, obviously.
I do want to bring this up because there's a trend in Friday 13th movies that if you've never noticed this, I'm telling you now to watch it.
Yes.
When you watch, there's a trend in several Friday 13th movies.
Starting in this one,
the guy was taking a crap on the crapper.
Yep.
And he just stands up. Doesn't wipe, doesn't do anything. There's several. I know of at least 2 other ones, maybe 3 more, where there's a guy getting killed on the crapper. So you thought your cell phones were bad for germs back then?
Hey, Mike, this is his kill.
Oh yeah, you got the guy that's got a 3x3 board in his, and that guy gets a cleaver to the chest. And you see the board
looks
sticking
like this,
out.
Don't it, Mike? It looks like
he's. Some of these kills back then are funny though. You have to laugh at them.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and they also they have the audacity to kill a pregnant girl in this. A girl's pregnant in this movie. She dies.
She says 5 times. She says 5 times she's pregnant. She's riding down the road smoking pot, and
she dies.
So Jason kills her.
Yeah,
and she's pregnant at the same time. So that's the first time he killed a baby or child.
That's right. Normally he leaves kids alone, though. Honestly, he does. Michael Myers will kill children, but for usually Jason, he doesn't mess with children. He doesn't kill them.
So Shelley has the hockey mask and introduces the Shelley character. In real life, I'd read where he was just like found at a local street corner putting out signs about come to some kind of dance or horror show or something. But he plays in this movie, and they told him to just play yourself.
Oh, I like where the 2 stoner people. I always thought that's
like Cheech and Chong is one of them there.
Well, yeah, he goes to the bathroom too, but he doesn't get killed there. Yeah, and he goes to fix a generator like a guy in number 2 went to fix a generator and died. This guy goes to fix a generator. So moral story, if someone says, hey, go fix this generator, don't do it, guys. You'll be dead.
Hey, show what the Gilberts said on there. That's a good comment from Kurt or Marsha too, but the Gilbert's right below that. When the stoner dude asked Jason if he wanted a hit of his joint and in 3D, he reached out to hand it to him. He said everyone in the audience was reaching up for it. That's hilarious.
No, that wasn't Jason. Wasn't that in the... I thought in the
van,
they
do it in the van too, but he may have done it when they're when he went to kill the guy.
I don't remember that part.
But he did. The girl, I think it was the girl or the guy, whether they were in the back of the van, he did it as well because they said he had to take a shot. They had to reshoot that shot like 25 times.
Right, but that wasn't Jason. Jason wasn't there.
No, not in that thing.
So this is where the notorious axe mark in the mask comes from, though. She hits him in the head with an axe and it leaves the mark, and that is there from here on out in the movies.
The spear gun shot was my favorite kill in this movie.
Oh, and I liked it where that one nerdy guy was trying to hit on that girl, and he's like, oh, you want to blah, 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 and she's like, no, dude, and he's like, you bitch. Like, it makes her a bitch because she's not interested in you, pal. No, that doesn't make her a bitch. She's just not interested in you. There
was also a callback kill in here I really liked was the girl that got the knife up through the hammock, laying in the hammock. It was a callback to Kevin Bacon in number 1.
Pregnant chick.
Huh?
The pregnant chick.
Yep.
One of my favorite kills is the guy that's, for some reason, there's a guy in this movie always doing stupid handstands. Don't know why, but he is. And Jason cuts him from crotch up to his belly, dude, in half.
And the shotting that one was really good because it was on like a plexiglass. He was doing a handstand on a plexiglass when they did a body mold of him.
Yeah.
And chopped him in half.
Well, that's kind of an iconic shot of Jason where he's got that over his head like this. And like there's like a shot of that goes around. And that's
is this the movie that has Tracy Savage in it that in real life was part of the OJ trial? She was a news reporter.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, this is that one. That's her. That's
Tracy Savage was in this. This was her first, one of her last films, or her last film.
Yeah,
she became a news reporter, but she was on the stand testifying in the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yes, yep. But she said, out of everything she's ever done, she gets the most people asking her about this movie.
Yep,
dude, I'm telling you, horror fans are loyal, and like one of the most loyal fan bases. There is really in movies, I feel like. I just do.
Hey, and I want to say this on record too, Josh, real quick. Yep. I've only been to one horror convention.
Yeah.
The people at horror conventions, and to me, the actors and I've been to Comic-Cons before with comic book characters,
yep,
and TV stars that have been in movies for comic book characters.
Yeah.
And now I've only went to one. When I go to a second one, I'll know if it's this. And I kept hearing this from other people. The horror actors and actresses and the fans are the nicest genre of group maybe out there. I keep hearing this. The actors and actresses were extremely nice to us when we were at them. They just appreciate what they did.
Right.
But they really give back to the fans, and it's not a ego thing, I mean, you're gonna have one or two out there like that.
You got autographs from Kane Hodder, who treated you great. You got autograph from Doug Bradley, who treated you really good.
Yep.
You got an autograph from Rose McGowan that probably you said was charging like the most there, but she still took time and talked to Anthony and was nice to you guys.
Yep. And Kane Hodder was charging $40 for a selfie with him. And then when I told him the story about Anthony and him and Anthony's story similar, and then me and my father is similar to him in his documentary, Kane Hodder.
Yep.
He asked me, he didn't have to do that. He said, "Can I take a picture with your son and you keep the picture?" And I was like, "Sure, go ahead."
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, he was charging everybody else $40 for that, and he did it.
And Doug, you said Doug Bradley. If you don't know who Doug Bradley is, he played Pinhead in the Hellraiser series. You said he took time and with you and was real nice.
Yep. And he only charged, I mean, some people are going to say it's still a lot of money. He only charged $40, where other people were charging $50 and $60.
Well, and he wrote a comment on there, all included with the autograph, right?
Yeah. Other ones, if you wanted a certain phrase from a movie said on it, they charge you extra for that.
Right. And I'm telling you right now, Mike, I that's the piece I'm most jealous about that you have. What he wrote on there and the way it looks on the box is
I need to keep it right beside me so I can always just like show you, Josh.
It is killer, bro. I love it. It's great. So let's move on to part 4, the final chapter, which is a very popular movie. Some consider it the best Friday the 13th film, Mike, because it does have Tom Savini said, "I'm coming back for this one because I brought Jason to life, so I want to kill him." So this movie was going to be the final movie, kill Jason Voorhees off. It did come out in 1984, so 2 years. I was alive during this time. I was probably like 1.5 when this movie came out. The main final people are Tommy Jarvis. We get introduced to Tommy Jarvis as a kid, probably what, 10 or 11?
He was 12 in the show. I don't know what he is in real life.
Oh,
he was 12-year-old.
12, okay. And then his sister Trish, who for me isn't a very likable final girl either, in my opinion.
You have one of the greatest dance scenes of all movies other than Kevin Bacon.
No, not Kevin Bacon.
I said other than Kevin Bacon. Crispin Glover.
Yes.
His dance scene in this movie is hilarious.
It's epic. Well, he said in an interview that the director played Back in Black. So he was dancing to that.
He was dancing to Back in Black.
But they put a different song in there, like some cheesy, 80s rocker in there instead. But yeah, I wrote that. There's 2 stars that came out of this, big ones. And that's Corey Feldman, who played Tommy Jarvis, who was kind of still in his infancy of his career, but he would hit it big the next year. I think he had Goonies coming out the next year after this. So he would be a big deal.
We need to do a show. We need to do a show on Corey Feldman, just a whole show on Corey Feldman. Sometime.
Okay, I like. I mean, he's been in some good horror movies: Lost Boys, Gremlins.
I told Josh when we get back from the cruise, I'm going to email. He's not going to respond back probably, but I'm going to ask him to come on the show.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to Corey Feldman. And then, like you said, Crispin Glover. After this movie, his next movie was Back to the Frickin' Future, Mike. I mean, like one of the biggest movies of all time. So, I mean, the guy did all right for himself. Even though he did alienate himself, he is a weird dude. But I do like him in this, and I loved him as George McFly in Back to the Future, no doubt. But so I said this is the start of the Tommy. They call this the start of the Tommy Jarvis.
Guess what happened at the beginning of this one, though, Josh?
What?
Something that probably has never been done before in a Friday 13th movie.
What's that?
Other than one didn't do this. There was another 5-minute recap.
Yeah, horrible.
5-minute recap.
Well, there wasn't a need for one.
Now this one, Jason is in the morgue at the beginning, which I thought was cool. And then when he kills the guys, the mortician, I mean the guy that worked in the morgue, yeah, he saws his head off.
That guy was cringe, bro. He was
watching like workout videos or something.
He was also eating a sandwich and put the sandwich on top of the dead body. And he also was like, "Oh, that girl's cute," and they're like, "She's dead." And he goes, "So?"
She's still, yeah. Go look at her.
Ew, dude, that's sick.
Yeah,
this guy deserved it. This guy got his head turned all the way around, Mike.
He did.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good death for him. In this one, there is no camp yet again. No campground again. Takes place at someone's freaking house, Mike.
Who in the 80s played? You saw Corey Feldman playing Zaxxon. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I used to love that game. Zaxxon was killer, man.
I didn't play it. I didn't have that. What was that? Atari or?
Zaxxon was the one that had like the mines, and it had to go up and over the electric
what
fields. What
system was it on? What was he playing it on? Was it a computer?
Oh, I can't remember, Josh. Man, I don't think it was Atari back then. I mean,
this movie had 14 total kills, Mike. So
that's a lot.
Yes, it's a big body bag. It's a big body count. But on the next movie, they overshot that by a bunch. So we'll see that next movie. I said it doesn't take place at the campground, which I don't like, but it still takes place at another house around Camp Crystal Lake somehow. In this one, you're kind of getting the idea of, is Jason teleporting? Because sometimes he's like upstairs at a house, he's outside, and then all of a sudden he's inside in someone's room. So it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is where all the things start. Where is he teleporting or what's going on when people started talking? I would say he's not teleporting. He's not supernatural yet. He's just a normal guy. So I would say he's not, in my opinion. There is a guy in this movie. He's like the brother of the girl that got stabbed with her boyfriend. And he's looking for her. And it makes sense because, he would be looking for her, but not like a day later. I mean, he wouldn't even know she was missing at this point. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a thing. But he gets killed by Jason, and as he's getting killed by Jason, he yells, "He's killing me!" But he doesn't just say it once. He says it about 5 times. "He's killing me! Oh, God, he's killing me!" Like, come on, dude. It's horrible, isn't it, Mike?
It is.
It's horrible. Anything you want to say about number 4, Mike, too?
Yeah, I want to bring up some quick kills I wrote down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hitchhiker got the knife through the back of the neck. Nurse was cut with a knife, sawed the guy's head off. We said that earlier. You had another spear gun in this one where the spear gun went through the crotch of the boyfriend.
Yep.
The corkscrew through the hand of Crispin Glover.
Yes.
And then the shot to the cleaver to the head was pretty killer.
Yep.
The girl was thrown through the window into a station wagon that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes, that was epic.
Back of the head through the movie screen to Teddy.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a guy smoking dope, trying to get with every girl he could.
He was a creeper.
Yeah. And then one of the better kills in this movie, I thought, was the shoved head of the young good looking guy into the wall of the shower. That was a callback to Psycho, supposedly.
Yeah, that was brutal.
And then the axe through the door into the girl with the towel.
He was actually friends with the girl that played Jenny in the second one, and she's the one that told him to take the role. He didn't really want to. Deuces Wild said Corey Feldman's homemade masks had a life of their own. Yes, they were awesome. And that was based on a young Tom Savini. You know that? Because he was all into that when he was a kid. So
that's why his name Tommy Jarvis come from.
Right. That's right. So yeah, and ends up Jason. This is a pretty good. I mean, Trish is an okay final girl. She's not horrible, I guess. But you know, they have a good chase scene, in my opinion. But Tommy,
one of the best endings, one of the better endings of a movie.
Tommy shaves his head and tries to look like Jason did when he was little, and it hypnotizes Jason. You see Jason's face, and they tried to model, unlike like three's face looked really weird to me, but like in this one, they tried to make his face look like young Jason from the first movie when he jumped out of the water. They tried to make it look like that, but grown up. And he gets a machete in the side of the head, and then when he falls on it, it like slides up through his head. It's
his eyeballs moving. I think they said that, didn't they say that they actually shot that in reverse, and they had
that was like a robot, Mike.
Yeah, and they had 3 or 4 people. One was pumping blood in there. One was moving like the puppeteer type thing, and
that's right.
So that was pretty crazy how they did that, but it looked good. I thought it looked really good for back then.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it too. And then Tommy Jarvis took that machete and just went ham on him, dude. He went off on Jason, and like this was the end. So, but they said they actually had a more brutal death where they wanted to explode his head so he really was dead. But then the studio said, "Oh, wait a minute, no, make it so it's a more like not so obvious that he's dead." So they knew, like, okay, they probably want to do more. So, but I mean, this is pretty final in my opinion. The whole guy's head almost got cut off.
Well, it's the last one that Tom Savini was part of too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely at top of my list if he still goes to any horror conventions before he passes away.
Yeah,
I would love to get his autograph.
No doubt. Probably on a
and I need CJ Graham's. I need his autograph.
Probably. Well, I'm going to tell you who was I'm going to tell you this Jason was very good, and it's got played by a guy named Ted White. He has passed. I think he lived till he was like 97 though, Mike. He lived a long time. But he was an excellent Jason. I mean, he was a bigger
tell
guy.
The stories about Corey Feldman. He said he was a little shit, basically.
Yeah, that was funny.
But he come back and said he liked him. He said he was a good actor and he did a good job for the character. But he said he had no upbringing, and he said evidently he was probably a little shit on the set.
Also, this guy playing Jason stuck up for the women on set when the guys were kind of like, oogling at these naked women. He'd be like, "Hey, come on, guys," or he would be like he stuck up for some of these women and said, "If you don't get this done."
Well, also the girl that got killed in the raft, didn't he stand up for her and threaten to quit because
he said, "I'm quitting if you don't make the conditions better for her."
Right.
And they said, "Oh, okay." So yeah, I mean, he's an all around stand around guy apparently, and to me, he's an excellent Jason. He's probably one of the best in my opinion. I love how he's just busting through doors and shit. I love that. I think that's great. And yeah, like I said, he's really good. I think number 4, dude. Number 4 could be the best, dude. I don't know. It's like it's hard for me between number 2 and number 4, in my opinion. I preferred Jason Voorhees, My Killer. I know you like the first one, but I mean, the series didn't have legs until I mean, it did well the first one, but they made a franchise out of Jason. You know what I mean? They couldn't have done that with Pamela Voorhees, in my opinion. They just couldn't have. But
they may come back with a TV series about her.
Sure, it might. They might. We'll get to that, Mike. We'll get to that. So let's talk about number 5, which I think is underrated a bit, in my opinion. I like this one a lot, Mike. I do. I like the side characters. I think this movie is all about the side characters. Tommy Jarvis is in this, but he's horrible. The final girl's name is Pam. She's not that great. She lays in the mud for about 2 minutes trying to get up. It really ticks me off. Wait, what is going on here? Deuce Wild said, "I laughed hysterically when he was hugging his sister, then saw the hand move, pushes Trish aside, and starts walking on him with
wailing on him with the
machete. Yeah, that was great. He also said he hated how the raft scene was handled. Yes, for sure. They also said he stayed away from the kids as much as he could to create the mood. I feel part 4 is the best. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that part 4 isn't the best. It really is. It has iconic kills. It has some good characters. The acting's not horrible in it, in my opinion, like 3. But yeah, and it's got the start of the Tommy Jarvis, and you got, I just think it's really good. I do. I really enjoy it. Mike, you have anything else to say about number 4 before we get to 5?
Now let's go. We just did 5 recently a couple weeks ago, but let's go through 5 real quick on some of our notes of it.
The final people are Pam, Reggie, which I really like Reggie. What's his name? Reggie the Reckless? Reggie the Reckless, I think it was. I really like him. Are you afraid of spiders? You afraid of rubber spiders? You were afraid of rubber spiders on strings? I love that part.
I hated the Tommy Jarvis in this one.
Oh, Tommy Jarvis is horrible. He's just, I don't know, just horribly played, in my opinion.
We talked about it earlier. He's the one that, luckily didn't come back for 6 because he ended up becoming a pastor, I believe.
Yeah. This movie has 21 kills in it, Mike. Wow. What a body count. And I like that. And I think that's one of the cool parts about this movie is he kills so many randoms, and I love it.
So let's bring up right off the bat. Let's go straight for the killer on it. This one is considered the false or faux.
Oh, yeah.
Friday 13th.
But the problem
kind of like Halloween 3.
But people are like, "Oh, I don't like it. It's not the real Jason." You don't know that till the last 5 minutes. So why does it even matter?
Personally, it did not bother me personally, and I like the killer of Jason in this one. I kind of like it. I had some real funny. If it's a kind of it's an 80s slasher that you can laugh about.
Yes,
it's not as bad as I've
No,
it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I love some of the kills in this, and like I said, the side characters are funny. I love that guy that does the cocaine in his car, and he's like doing donuts and stuff, and he like snorts cocaine, and then he's like, "Ew," and then he gets the axe right to his bald spot.
Hey, so Deuce, I don't know if that's that Douche's Wild or Deucey's Wild. I apologize if I named it. It says Reggie brother kills me. Those damn enchiladas laugh my ass off.
Oh,
talk about a crapper scene. That's right. There's another crapper scene in this one.
Demon's his name.
Huh?
Demon is the guy's name, and he's like, "Oh, those enchiladas."
That's right, Gilberts say the blue hockey mask should have clued us all.
Right. Definitely. And I like the blue hockey. Listen, the blue hockey mask has a cameo in Never Hike Alone in the Snow. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I like this one. I think the kills are solid. I don't think the final girl's very good. Pam, she's not. And yes, the ending is a mystery of who it was. You think it's Michael, or you think it's Jason, but it's not. And it kind of falls flat a little bit. But the whole movie where you don't know it's him, I think it's fine, honestly. I really do. I think it's all as a whole, it's fine. Mike, do you have anything you want to say about this one? Roy, and the guy's name is Roy Burns.
I don't think it's as bad as people kept talking about it and they hate it. Right. I don't think it's that bad.
Right. And also they tease in the 4th one, they teased it, and in this one, they teased that Tommy Jarvis is going to be Jason. He's going to be the killer. Yep. They tease it. Do you think that could have worked if they would have made Tommy Jarvis the new Jason killer? Mike?
I think it could have. Do you? I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the zombie Jason. Even though I love Kane Hodder and he played in 7, 8, 9, and 10, I'm not. I like somewhat. Even though none of them's really realistic, I kind of like somewhat realistic killers.
Yeah, but listen, would you rather them say, "Oh, a guy takes all this abuse and he's not dead"? Like Michael Myers can be shot 7 times and still be alive, and be a human? Or would you say, "Okay, let's just make him a zombie. So if you shoot him 5 times, it doesn't kill him because he's already dead"? I would rather have it go that way than to have a human being able to survive a 50 million things. Honestly, I just would, because it's. I mean, you're out of the realm of realistic, but at least like, okay, he's dead already, so it doesn't affect him. But when you try to portray it like he's a human and all this stuff's going to happen to him, like, it's a little, I don't know. For me, it's better just to say he's undead or whatever. He has supernatural powers. That's for me, it works better as a story. when you have that kind of stuff happen to somebody.
So you want to go back and look at the Rotten Tomato scores on these?
Do you want to?
I think, I don't know if this will let me do it or not, but it'll let me, if it lets me present, if you allow me to do this, I can.
Yeah. My wife is here. Ventures Ahead. He said, no worries, dude. You can pronounce it like deuces. It's a play on my last name. Okay. CMT says a lot of angels could have been taken from, or angles could have been taken from this. Gilbert said the kid in the red jumpsuit was fast. He played Dudley in Different Strokes. Yeah, he was great, dude. I thought Reggie was great in this movie.
So I think you have to allow this to come on into the show.
How do I do it?
Does it not come up and tell you to allow sharing or anything?
No.
Huh. Okay.
Just read them off, Mike.
Okay. So according to Rotten Tomatoes, it's got the rankings of the Halloween movies, and actually this goes all the way up to 10. So we'll go through what they have on here. Actually, it goes through 12.
Yeah, just read them off from the worst to the best.
Okay.
And read the critic and the fan.
It only gives one here. I don't know which one this is.
It must be the critics.
Yep. So Friday the 13th is considered the highest rating critic score. The original Friday 13th, 1980 got a 64.
Okay.
Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, 1986 got a 50%.
I like that one.
Freddy versus Jason, 2003 got a 42.
I like that one.
Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, got 35.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Friday the 13th, Part 2, got a 30, 1981.
Yep.
Friday the 13th, 2009, the remake, got a 25.
Mike, that's harsh for the second one, man.
That is. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, what we just talked about, 24.
That's
only a
brutal.
24.
That's brutal.
Jason X, 2002, got a 19.
I like that one. It's fun.
Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, got an 18.
That's 5.
Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, 1993, got a 15.
That one's horrible.
Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, got an 11.
I'd rather watch that than freaking Jason Goes to Hell.
Friday the 13th, Part 3. Kurt, if you're still in here, See Me Traveling. That was your favorite, you said, movie earlier. Got a 7.
Listen, it's better. Listen, it's better than Jason. Listen, by far the worst one on this list is Jason Goes to Hell because it pulled a Halloween Ends before Halloween Ends, and Jason's in it for about 4 minutes. So, just letting you know that.
So real quick, out of the 6 that we went over tonight, rank your top 3.
Top 3? So I would say
you don't have to rate all 6 of them. Just go your top 3.
Yeah, I'd say number 3 would be number 6. Number 2 would be Part 2, and number 4 would be 1 for me.
So I'm going to take the easy out on this. Mine's 1, 2, and 4.
Okay.
1, 2, and 4 in that order. I do really like 4.
Oh, it's great. Like I said, I think it.
I would like to see them come back in the legacy on number 13 on this one and bring Corey Feldman. He's Tommy Jarvis. Gosh, does Tommy Jarvis got killed off? Did he get killed off?
No, he's gonna be in Never Hike Alone 2 tonight, bro.
Yeah, but that's you know how that is.
No, they're not, dude. They're going by the storyline. So
I would like to see a legacy movie on number 13. Have Kane Hodder be the director. The director, and bring back the Jenny Carrier. Was it Jenna from number 2, and have Corey Feldman back in it somehow.
That'd kind of be kind of cool.
I agree, Kurt. The 3D in this, that was a big hype at the time.
Right.
I remember in the drive-in theater wearing the glasses, and when that thing came right at the screen, I was like, whoa. I mean, it really did a good job at the time.
Yeah. Listen, Mike, you know what? I think you're in the minority with Part 1, to be honest. With the Friday the 13th fans, that's the one that people are usually surprisingly, normally number 1 isn't in their top 3.
That's because they like Jason.
That's right, because Jason is the series. But you're in the minority with that, in my opinion. But listen, it's not. It is a legendary film. It did a lot for this genre, and it basically took what Halloween did and did it better. It did it better in different ways. I'll say not better, but better in different ways. And I mean, obviously, it spawned a big franchise.
Deuces Wild has a good comment on there. And I have that book. If y'all ever have a chance to buy that book, you can get it on Amazon a lot cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. The Crystal Lake Memoirs.
Yeah.
That is an awesome book. It's about that thick, but it goes everything. I mean, the whole franchise is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So there is a TV show coming out, Mike. I think it's called Camp Crystal Lake or something like that.
And I haven't heard any more about it, about the storyline they're going to go with.
No, have you? Where would you like it to go? What kind of a TV show would you like to see with it? Like, let's kind of end it with that.
Man, there's been so many movies and so many things with this. First of all, because of the contractual things about it, Jason can't be in the movies as far as the hockey mask, the new Jason, right?
Right. He could come in the show. He could be Sackhead Jason.
So you'd have to almost go back when he got teased in camp, and everything led up to him drowning. So maybe the time with his mother, and so you could go back years earlier, and the mother was killing people even earlier.
Right. You would like to see Mrs. Voorhees be the killer again in this?
Well, I'm not saying I would like to see that, but that's kind of where you'd have to go with it, with the contractual issues there.
So are you going to stick to the canon of the movies, or are you going to retcon that? Because if you go by the canon of the movies, Mrs. Voorhees did not know that Jason was still alive. Would you still go with that?
I think you could, and you could have actually 2 or 3 storylines going on at one time. You could have her storyline going on. You could also have Jason's as a wild beast in the woods going on. I mean, you could have 2 or 3 storylines going on at one time in this, and showing the gap of years between him seeing his mother head cut off.
Right. I mean, I think if you want to please Friday the 13th fans, you make this show about Jason. You don't make it about Miss Voorhees. You don't make it about that. Your main focus needs to be about Jason Voorhees. That's what the fans want. And we've seen it before when the movie strayed from not being about the main character, Michael Myers or Freddy or Jason. The movie's tanked because people want Jason Voorhees. They want Michael Myers. They want these people in it. They don't want other people. So listen, I'm telling you right now, he needs to be the main focus. He just does. He has to be if it's going to work. But I don't know what they could do with it because the guy doesn't talk. So, like, what could you do with it? Same problem with Michael Myers in a TV show, by the way, Mike. There's not much. How much more character development can you do with these people? Like, how much more? Like, you can't. I mean, they don't have any personalities, really. I mean, they're just killing machines, basically.
I mean, you could almost with the whole Camp Crystal Lake thing. You know, you saw the what was the TV series that came out, like the 3 mini movies, and they did one of them that kind of had that Friday the 13th feel to it recently. They had the actress from Stranger Things in it.
Yeah, that was great. That was Fear Street, and 1978 was awesome.
That was a very well written, movie, in that 3 movie set. I think it was 3, it may have been 4 movies, 3 movies.
Yes,
but like you could go back with the whole camp thing going on over the years, and and have a lot of stories going on at the same time.
Do you think they could like have him, like, because he's alive? Do you think they could have him kill at other places, like not Camp Crystal Lake, obviously, because it was shut down for a lot of years after that. So that wasn't active until 1980. So he would have to be someplace else killing. You could tell that story. I mean,
another thing you never have heard about is Voorhees is Jason's father.
Right. I mean, do you need it though? I don't know. Do you need that?
I don't know. I mean, it's something that hadn't been tapped into. I don't know.
They were going to in a movie, and then they decided not to. I think it was part 5 or part 6 they were going to, and then they decided to scrap it.
Well, Josh, it's been an hour and a half, man, and we got a pretty good crowd in here, but we're about 30 minutes away from
the Never
Hike Alone 2.
Yep.
Which we had. If some of y'all came in a little bit later tonight, let's talk about that real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Before we go off, but there's a fan film coming on tonight at 10 o'clock on YouTube. I think it's called Womp Stomp. Is that the name of the channel?
Womp Stomp. I think it's Womp Stomp Studios.
Womp Stomp Studio. But if you haven't watched it yet, it's a fan film. So these are people that, they're not getting paid a bunch of money to do this, but they're doing some really good work.
Just look up Never Hike Alone. And
Never Hike Alone.
Click
then you got Never Hike Alone in the Snow.
Yep.
And then this Never Hike Alone
2
comes on at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
Josh and I are both going to watch this at 10 o'clock. I don't know if it's 20, 30, 40 minutes long. It's not very long.
It might, I would say
this is supposed to be the finale, right? So it may be the last one.
I think it's in between a half hour and an hour. I think it's going to be, yeah.
So Josh and I are going to come back tonight and do a, do a kind of like a quick synopsis of it, or I don't know if we're going to do yet a spoiler on it, but we're going to tell our thoughts on it anyway.
Right.
So if you're serious Friday the 13th fans and you want to see something a little different, and you see some of these actors in the original, like you're going to have the guy that played Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah, from number 6.
He's going to be in here, so definitely check that out.
Yes. It sticks with, so basically what it does is it takes place after number 6. Everything after number 6 didn't happen in this. It goes from 1 to 6, and then you go to Never Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone in the Snow, and then Never Hike Alone 2. That's the community. They don't go 7, 8, 9, 10. None of that happened. It takes place after number 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
Okay.
It's been a good night. Hey, please like, comment, subscribe to our channel, Real Dead. And also check us out on Facebook. And you guys have a great night. Thank you for coming in here.
Yeah.
Great chatting back and forth.
Yep.
And we
appreciate
your input.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I think I know this will be our last live stream for a while, but we should have one probably the middle of November at some point, Mike, don't you think? We will have, I mean, at this point, we both are going to Mad Monster Atlanta. They're releasing a lot of people's names and more and more people, right, Mike?
Yes.
And so we
including Ronnie Gilbert. If you're in here, Peter Criss is supposed to be there.
That's right. Peter Criss
from Kiss is supposed to be there at a horror convention.
And Mike
Mike doesn't know if he's going to buy it's $80 for his autograph.
Yep.
He's making you put a bunch of germ stuff on your hands and wear a mask to see him. I don't know if I can do that. I mean, nothing against people that wear masks, but I mean, and he is in his 80s or 80s, so I get that.
You got to respect that for his age, for sure.
I do. So, I mean, he has to respect that I don't pay it either. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can also get the same autograph online for $65 if I order it.
Yeah, and coming up actually really soon next week, me and Mike are going on a cruise at the same time. So we do plan on recording a couple of videos together, just kind of talking points and stuff. We also are doing a review with a fellow horror enthusiast, again, Gregory, who's been on our channel before, on the ship. So that'll be a lot of fun. And so that's what we're going to plan on doing. We might get some other random horror video type.
We also think about doing some short videos, like asking people questions that don't mind. So if there's anybody here that's going to be on the cruise with us,
the Gilbert, Ronnie Gilbert, he'll
Holly,
be there. We can, Holly, we can ask them questions for sure.
Yeah, Ronnie likes stuff.
Yep,
Ronnie and Ronnie Gilbert and Ronnie Stokes.
Yep. So, okay, Mike.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Thank you guys for dropping in tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Josh.
Yep, bye-bye.